And welcome, folks, to Champions for Life. This is the outreach ministry of First Choice Pregnancy Services. So delighted to be in studio with you today. Oh, it's going to be awesome. We have a special guest. We have Yadasha Jones here of Moms for Liberty. It's going to be an awesome show.
Yes.
So we're just so delighted that that you're here and that you're our guest today.
Thank you so much.
I want to shout out to kkbv.com, who is simulcasting this broadcast over their airwaves, 1060 a.m. The light of Las Vegas. We love KKBV, and all the broadcasts that are there on KKBV are they're just fantabulous. So we love them very much. And but before we get going, we want to hear a word from our sponsors. I want to take a moment to acknowledge one of the great sponsors that make this portion of the broadcast possible, and that's Dr. Ray Kelly of Kelly Chiropractic. Treats injuries from falls, accidents, motor vehicle crashes, work-related incidents. For those of you who are suffering from allergies, he also has a procedure called acutherapy, going to treat your allergies and ease some of that discomfort. Accepts most forms of insurance. Been in the business over 33 years here in Las Vegas. Give him a call. Set up your appointment. The number is 702-870-9200. And welcome back, folks. Just so delighted to be in studio with you today. Okay, so of course today we have Yadasha Jones. Of course, Moms for Liberty is with us today. You are the, and I want to get this right because you can mess this up. You are the Moms for Liberty chairwoman for Clark County.
Yes.
And the legislative director for Moms for Liberty, Nevada.
Absolutely.
That is a huge title. I'd hate to see your letterhead. But that's a great title. And just briefly, what is it that you're doing for Moms for Liberty? And what is your focus?
So with Moms for Liberty, we advocate for parental rights for the community. We make awareness of how you can keep your parental rights and how we're going to make it stronger for all of Nevada.
Excellent. Excellent. So we're going to be talking about Moms for Liberty, their new website, got it a book fair that's coming up, just a lot of events, things that you need to know about. Not only that, Dads for Liberty, Teens for Liberty. Yes. We're going to get into all of that in just a minute. Want to also mention the fact that First Choice Pregnancy Services is having their gala tomorrow. Tomorrow, there's two events, and you still have time, possibly for both events. I know at the noon, I think there is still events up. This is Unmasking the Silence of Pro-Life Masquerade. You still are able to get a seat. Granted, I know it's $150 per seat, and it goes up from there, but it's a worthy endeavor. Listen, our heart is to open up another First Choice Pregnancy Service Center just like this one elsewhere in our city, and then model this throughout the nation. And so you can be a part. Find out how you can do it by being at this event. Our keynote speaker is going to be Cal Zastro, who is a fabulous pastor, pro-life leader for decades, recently pardoned by President Trump for Cal's violation of the FACE Act under the previous administration. FACE Act was the Freedom to Access Clinic Entrances, and the Biden administration and the feds really went after Cal and about a dozen others, but especially Cal because he was like the leader. And but you know what? President Trump pardoned him, and so I'm betting that he's going to have his pardon there for you to see and maybe take a picture with it. It's an awesome thing to serve the Lord and then to be freed from the enemy's chains. I mean, really, because that's what Cal was facing. So you can meet Cal at this event, at our gala. It's going to be tomorrow. Now, there's two events. You have a noon for lunch. We're going to feed you. That's at noon. And there's a 7 p.m. event for dinner, and we're going to feed you there as well. Both of these are at we'll scroll back up for those who are listening on radio. This is at the Canyon Gate Country Club. And you can be a part of that. And if you come in at the $50,000 sponsor host level, you'll actually get to meet Cal Zastro with a one-on-one prior to the event starting. And there's all different levels of sponsorship. Here's how you can find out more information about it. Log into fcpschampions.org and then click event. FCPS stands for First Choice Pregnancy Services, champions.org. and then click events, and you'll see everything there. You see a beautiful picture of Cal and his wife, and all the various sponsor levels, QR codes, everything. And failing that, you can give First Choice a call and say, look, I want to go to this gala. I heard Ken Wilson's going to be there, so I have to go. Yeah, but I'll only be at the 7 p.m. event. But here's the number to call. The number is 702-294-CARE, 294-2273, and say, hey, listen, I want to go. I know it's happening tomorrow, no late notice, but we will squeeze you in, and this is something that you want to be a part of. Listen, for those of you who are not aware, First Choice Pregnancy Services is the model crisis pregnancy center in the nation. That's not my words. That's the words of Focus on the Family, who granted an award 15 years ago to First Choice for the beautiful facility, the medical facility that we have here, where we're actually shooting this podcast. And we want to see this replicated throughout our city. So far, since First Choice has opened, over 45,000 children are alive today.
Wow.
Because First Choice existed. 45,000. There's towns that don't even have 5,000 people in it.
Right.
45,000.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that amazing? And this is the model that we want to replicate, because this is what God is doing. And, for those of you who are wondering, is this a Christian organization? Let me tell you something. For every single lady that walks through these doors, first of all, there's no charge. We never charge anyone anything. When they come in, they get a free pregnancy test, free sonogram, free counseling, and free services, from diapers to material needs to cribs to clothing to sometimes even housing. All of that is free. But more importantly, they're being witnessed to with compassion and the love of Jesus Christ. The gospel is being presented to them both in words and in deeds. And that's why you're going to love First Choice. This is why we want to replicate this model throughout the nation. It's the gospel outside the walls of the church, and you can be a part of it. So be at the event if you can. That's going to be tomorrow. There's going to be 2 events. You can come at noon or at 7 p.m. If you want to be a part, log into the website, fcpschampions.org, click events, and register yourself and say, come shake my hand and say, hey, I heard about you, over the air or on the podcast, and I would love to meet you. But more importantly, you're going to be blessed by meeting the staff of First Choice. Also want to mention, shout out to 40daysforlife.com. 40 Days for Life just concluded on November 2nd. So for 40 days, we were praying, not only here in Las Vegas, but around the world. Over 650 cities around the world, from Australia to Philippines to Taiwan to Canada to Brazil to Ireland and England to Germany and Spain to Kenya. I mean, just all around the world. 40 Days for Life, praying many times in front of a local abortion facility. Hundreds, I think over 250 abortion facilities have closed where 40 Days has prayed. And hundreds of clinic workers have quit, and many abortionists themselves have quit. So much so that they've created a ministry, and then there was none, a ministry to abortionists who have come out of the abortion business and is now using their gifts to promote life and and sanity to our medical community. And so it's just amazing what God has done through 40 Days for Life. There's going to be a spring campaign as well. If you'd like to be involved and get more information, either for your church or for your group or for your youth in your church, then log into 40daysforlife.com/Las Vegas and find out more about it and how you can be a part of this just massive event. One of the amazing things I like talking about 40 Days for Life, the place where it started was College Station, Texas.
Oh,
right? College
I didn't know
Station.
that.
You know that place? Well, they had a very, very large Planned Parenthood facility where they started praying. And 40 Days prayed so fervently, that place closed. Not only did it close, it ended up becoming the 40 Days for Life national headquarters.
Wow.
Right there in College Station. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? That's what God can do. That's what God can do. And you can be a part of it, 40daysforlife.com. All right. Well, Asha, let me tell you something. We just had an election.
Yes.
Now it will be day before yesterday. And I don't know what to think about this. Although I got to be honest with you, I'm a little troubled. I think New York City is insane. If they're not insane, they need
Jesus.
They need boy, do they ever. My goodness, Mamdani, really?
Yeah. So my take on it, when it comes to New York, there's Virginia and New Jersey. They all were hit with new positions, new people, and I looked at what they stood for.
Yeah.
Now, this is just personally on how I feel about the situation. I noticed that the man that ran, the attorney general in Virginia, and also the mayor now in New York, none of them talked about children. Not a single one. They talked about money. They talked about handouts, and that was concerning to me.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the now new coming governor, she toggled on children, but how she toggled on children was
Talking about the governor of New
concerning to me.
Jersey, Mickey Sherrill.
Yes. When she talked about children, she talked about education, but she was talking about things to push segregation. That was concerning. A lot of people talk about DEI and they talk about critical race theory, and when they talk about it, they talk about it as if it's it's for the good of the community. I know they have good intentions, but I don't think they're doing their research on it, because if you were, you wouldn't talk about it at all, because it's another form of segregation. You're segregating people. And the other two, the gentleman, New Jersey, right?
You're talking about Jay Jones, who
Jay
won
Jones,
the Attorney General of Virginia, actually.
Many people should be in fear for him. This man,
that was crazy.
He's talking about murdering children just to light fires under people.
Of your political opponents.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That is, and then when it comes to Mamdani, he doesn't talk about, I just don't understand. So you took a young male, I'm not going to say man, a young male, and that lived in his parents' basement, never had a job a day in his life, and tried to start a rap career and failed at that. And then he ran for mayor and he won based off of, I give you everything for free if you vote for me. You can have free housing, free grocery stores, free cars. And we're going to take all the money from the wealthy people that live here and give it to you. So hold your hand now, because here I come.
I was first of all the New York Mamdani. He was talking about first of all rent freeze, universal child care, but then he said city-owned grocery stores.
Yes,
that doesn't work.
Never.
It never works when the government owned. Listen, if you want an example of something that just doesn't work, look at the post office.
Look at Chicago.
It doesn't work.
They just had the same grocery stores in Chicago. Nobody's talking about. They won't talk about it because it failed big time. And they're begging for people to come to these grocery stores. There's a reason why they're not coming. It doesn't work. When you offer handouts, it falls and crumbles.
Yeah.
Merit is what's important.
Yeah.
You're not, and what's concerning to me about Mamdani specifically is that he's like 34 years old. He's 33, 34 years old.
He's young.
And he's never worked a day in his life. You can't even be the person that children could look up to. Because what did you do before you became mayor? Oh, I sat in my parents' basement.
Isn't that qualification?
and it's
amazing.
The biggest majority that voted for him were young women. And people are like, how did he get them to vote? It's because They looked at how he looks. They don't care the fact that where he came from. They don't like women. They don't care that the fact that his heritage will literally kill women. They do not care that the fact that his heritage literally does not want women to vote. They
Mhm.
voted for him because he's cute.
Yeah, well, and now you have him as mayor, and so we'll see. We'll see in 4 years how cute you still think Mamdani is.
Right.
I mean, that's just crazy. So New York, look, there's been a mass
Yeah.
exodus of business out of New York, and I'm wondering now if it's going to continue because ultimately, when you give stuff away for free, someone else has to pay for it.
Yes.
And eventually, people get tired of paying for stuff that's doled out. And the other thing about city-owned or government-owned businesses, they just don't work. And I'll tell you why it doesn't work. It doesn't work because when the government is, first of all, the government has a limited pool of funds.
Yes.
It's limited, right? And there's something is you're always looking at cost-cutting measures. And as you try to make it more efficient and cut services and what happens is your business shrinks, you get less excellence, and you get more mediocrity, and ultimately the business fails.
I'm gonna give you a prime example. So government funding. Is it the school district government funded?
You came to my mind.
Let's narrow it down to Nevada. Clark County specifically. Clark County is the 5th largest district in the nation, but we are 51st at education. And a lot of people they laugh and chuckle when I say that. How are we the 51st and it's only 50 states?
DC.
Exactly. So when you include DC children, that's 51 that are included. They're all government funded. We are the 5th largest and the most uneducated. Government funded.
Yeah. It doesn't always work. That's the beauty of freedom and the free market.
No.
It really is. I could do a week's worth of shows on businesses and entities. I mean, one that comes right to mind is parks. And I think in one state, I can't remember what state it was, they decided that we were going to take some of the parks that were administrated by the local government and just turn them over to private funds and see how they do. Well, guess what happened to these parks? These parks, now the restrooms are being cleaned. It was beautiful. The parks were manicured. It was a boon to the community because private industry took over the parks. And the beauty of it is they're not restricted by funds, right? Like the government is, because the government, as we said, has a limited source of revenue. So, like I said, we could talk about this for a long time. I don't want to, but the platform doesn't work. And I don't know. I don't know how long it will take for the New York electorate to understand that some of these policies are not feasible.
You know how long it's going to take them to figure it out? The same amount of time it took them to figure out about Biden.
That's too long. That's too long. I don't want to wait that long, but New York City is going to have to wait now.
Yeah.
And the sad reality is they just didn't have a lot of great candidates. I mean, look at what you had.
Yes.
And so, I tell you, I was never personally, it's not the views of the first choice, but I was never a big Giuliani fan, but he did clean up the city, right? And there was law and order. And you didn't have city-owned grocery stores, and you didn't have rent freeze. I mean, and Lord knows what else he wants to do. And it was a little more sane in New York City. And now that he's gone, it's kind of like chaos again. And so I don't know. New York City.
Well, they're going to have to find a new fire chief because, from my understanding, he quit.
Oh, he said goodbye.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if the police chief follows suit. But anyway. Pray for our country, folks. That's the bottom line. I often tell people this, when, and believe this in my heart, that first of all, we need to be involved in politics, because God may call upon you to become a stateswoman or statesman for your community because you're serving the community. How wonderful would it be, right? if the next Clark County School District board meeting that you went to had every single one of their members there, their trustees, were church attending, God fearing people. How wonderful would it be, right? That would be the end of, Lorena said that would be the end of private school. There would be no more private school.
Well,
right?
I wouldn't think so.
Well, it was a joke, but she made a valid point, right? Because you'd had believers who would want to literally put the children first in the curriculum, would be scrutinized, right? And then how about if, all of your police officers feared the Lord? Right? How about if
that would be amazing?
Wouldn't that be amazing if your state senators and all your U.S. representatives, right, even to Congress and locally, were church attending and feared the Lord, and right? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Well, there's only one way that can happen, is if you get involved and support those that are God-fearing good candidates. Wouldn't it be wonderful if all of our judges attended, right?
It's interesting that people that are in these positions, that they aren't God-fearing people, especially since we were founded by the Bible.
There you go.
When you swear in, your hand is on the Bible. It's interesting how they so quickly turn away from it.
Yeah. So again, this is. Yeah, is it a dream? Yeah, maybe, but I believe that God has people in place to make a difference, and you can be that one person. And if you aren't, then you can run alongside someone that is called by God to be a leader in our community. Maybe the next mayor, maybe the next fire chief. You never know. And because listen, there's already godly men and women who are already serving in some capacity in government.
And
right?
they're having
They may be sitting
trouble.
as a clerk, right? A judge's clerk. They may be sitting as an assistant police chief. They may be sitting in some lesser position and may be looking to move ahead, right? And how wonderful it would be if they... Right?
Every person matters.
Every person matters. Every single person. So that being said, let's go ahead and, first of all, let's deal with... There was a recent Supreme Court decision about 4 months ago.
Yes.
And this ties in directly with Moms for Liberty. And this Supreme Court ruling was Mahmoud versus Taylor, right? And this was a great victory for American families and parents concerning schools' jurisdiction and power over our children. And this case was in Montgomery County, Maryland. And the Supreme Court of the United States reaffirmed a foundational truth that the state does not raise your children, parents do.
Absolutely. It was beautiful to hear and to see that there is hope. And this, even though it did not happen in Nevada, it is on its way.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, this is Supreme Court, so this has effect throughout all 50 states, even though this, the case was in Maryland. It dealt with a school district's decision to strip parents of their right to opt their children out of sexually explicit instructional material that was being taught in their schools, right? Yes. And so the parents found out about it, said, hey, listen, you're not, no, that's my little Johnny, little Susie is not going to be, I don't want them reading sexually explicit materials. And the school district said, nah, you have no right, parents. This is our job. We decide what's going to be taught to your children. And the parents sued. This curriculum, by the way, we're not talking about high school. This was kindergarten and elementary grade school students.
It's right? Disturbing.
12 years old and younger. And it contained content that a lot of families found objectionable on moral and religious grounds. And when the parents objected, they were denied any recourse and told instead to stand down, stay at home, parent at home. We'll take your kids from here.
Yes.
That's frightening.
A lot of teachers and admin think that way, that once you enroll your child in school, that it's now their job to mold your child into what they want them to be and not the other way around. And a lot of people don't know that your parental rights are taken from you. The moment that you enroll your child into a Clark County school district, your child is now governed over that school. They can they can have anybody talk to your child without your permission or consent, because you just gave your parental rights to the school. You're just a peer mediator at that point.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
terrifying.
Wow. Under the previous administration, because so many parents were enraged over the curriculum and the things that their children were reading, the Biden administration listed parents as a terrorist group right alongside Black Lives Matter and all the rest of them. And it was crazy. Antifa. Can you imagine parents being listed in the same list, a government list of troublemakers?
We were there.
Parents, you are under the Biden, gone are those days, but we still have the public school curriculums, and many of which are very objectionable. Said Moms for Liberty CEO and co-founder Tina Descovich.
Yes,
am I pronouncing
amazing woman. Yes,
amazing
she
woman.
is.
She said very clearly. She says we do not co-parent with the government,
Not one bit.
and we are winning.
Yes, we're making every way to ensure that every parent has the fundamental right to teach their child the way that they want to, whether that's in the public school setting, in a private school setting, or in home. You have the right as a parent. And for somebody to tell you the person that God gave you to take care of, that you gave birth to, and you do not have the right to that child, they should be removed out of whatever seat they are sitting in immediately.
Isn't that crazy that the words of, it's like I'm reminded of the state. The state will educate your child, mom and dad.
Absolutely
The state
not.
is going to take it. Listen, you don't worry about the curriculum, mom and dad. We'll take it from here, right? And that's frightening.
And have you noticed that the suicide rate has went up with children since they've pushed this? You want to tell us that you will educate our children and it's none of our concern. Why are so many children are committing suicide by the drove? What are you saying to them?
Mm-hmm.
You do not have the right to tell my child how to think. This is not an indoctrination camp.
Yeah.
My children are my children. When they come home, they should be able to be comfortable with what they were taught, comfortable to speak to their parents, and they're not anymore.
Right.
These kids are being forced to learn a certain way. And there's many kids that I've talked to, they get upset because they have to write a certain way that they don't feel because the teacher is failing them for thinking a certain way. How disgusting and degrading is that?
Yeah. And, this obviously extends into college. Like I have 2 children that are in college now and 2 that are in high school. And, when you get to college, I won't say it's unavoidable that you're going to be, your children. In fact, I was talking with my son last night about, some of the social engineering projects that are now kind of part of his curriculum in college. Can't avoid that. But when you're dealing with minors, right? I want to know as a parent what you're teaching my children. And then if the teacher or the principal or the school district comes back and says, you know what, Mr. Wilson, you don't have a right to know what we're teaching your child. You just have to trust us. That's when I start to get a little worried.
Yes, because I trust you're going to do exactly what you say you're going to do, and that's not disclosing everything.
Yeah.
The brief synopsis that they give at the beginning of the school year to parents is not enough. When your child comes home with a book that is showing pornographic images, when your child is coming home with a homework assignment asking, what's your political party? Or when a child comes home with an assignment asking you about your medical history, why? These are not assignments. This is a way to get free information from children so you know where they lean. Absolutely not. There's no way that a child should be coming home questioning their parents on things like that.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that has led you to chair Moms for Liberty, ultimately.
Yes. When I was asked to take over Moms for Liberty, I was like, oof, that is something. I see what you guys do. Mm-hmm. And the more I was like, it's not for me, the more God was like, it's right for you. So I jumped in, and I just want because I was, unbeknownst to myself, I was already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that my kids do, I'm heavily involved in.
Right.
I've been PTO president. I've been a Girl Scout leader. I've been a volunteer for Cub Scouts. Anything that my kids are involved in, sign me up, because I need to know. I want to know the beginning, the end, and the middle, and what they are actually being involved in. And the more I'm out there, the more that I'm seeing, the more that I'm disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents don't know, because on the outside looking in, little Johnny is getting exactly what he asked for. But on the inside, little Johnny is being indoctrinated. And that is not what a school is supposed to do.
Right.
So with Moms for Liberty, we're pushing to make awareness of what people parental rights are, or the lack of parental rights you have in whatever genre it is. And we had Clark County Moms for Liberty out here for the last 3 years, and for me it just wasn't enough. So I've been talking and working with people all across the county to try to open up more chapters within Moms for Liberty. And what do you know? People feel the exact same way all across Nevada.
Surprise.
Yes. And it does take time, but we now have Moms for Liberty Clark County, Moms for Liberty Elko County, Moms for Liberty Humboldt County. Mm-hmm. And we have a few more opening up in a location near you.
That is really good news. All right, we're going to take a moment and we're going to check out your brand spanking new website.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about your book fair and a lot of things that are going to be coming up for Moms for Liberty. Exciting things are happening with Moms for Liberty. So you moms out there, and it's not just moms. We're going to be talking about dads and teens too in a minute.
Yes.
But before we do, we want to hear from our wonderful sponsors, of which, by the way, you could be a sponsor of not only this broadcast, but also First Choice Pregnancy Services, which is the outreach. This is the outreach ministry of that ministry, and you can be a part of it by advertising your business on this show. And so one of those businesses we're going to hear from right now. I want to take a moment to acknowledge one of the great sponsors of the Champions for Life radio broadcast, such as RTS Postal Express, for all your Las Vegas copy needs. Black and white copies, color copies, business cards, resumes, you name it. RTS Postal Express is going to meet your needs quickly. RTS stands for really terrific service. See my man, Angelo. Here's the telephone number, 702-489-4859. And if you mention the Champions for Life radio broadcast, get 10% off your first order. Welcome back, folks. So delighted to have in the studio with us today our special guest, Moms for Liberty chairwoman for Clark County and legislative director for Moms for Liberty Nevada.
Yes.
Yadasha Jones. It's a lot to say.
Well,
I'm
doing it for you guys.
She's busy, okay? She's very, very busy. And you have a wonderful new website.
Yes. Last time we were on,
new.
It was very different, but we were like, we've been working on this for a while. We needed a website for our community, and our community is all of Nevada. Right. So we came together and we just been putting so many things on this new website. It's still in the works. So if you see something that needs to be fixed or changed, please send us a message, because we are all volunteers and we are literally doing this for the community of Nevada. So this is our new website.
And there you go. For those listening on the radio, you can log into Moms for FOR
yes,
LibertyNV.org, and you'll wander into this big, beautiful blue website.
Yes,
Moms for Liberty Nevada.
So we just wanted to make sure that everybody's needs are met. We have restructured, rebuilt. We have tripled the amount of people that were a part of us before. We've outpaced that. Mm-hmm. So we have teams and committees. We have positions open. And if you look on our website, we go by chapters of the county. So the ones that we have open, you will see their pages on the website. So there's Clark County, Elko County, and Humboldt County.
And your goal is to have one for every county in the state of Nevada?
Absolutely.
Of which
all
there's
17.
About 17.
Yes.
Okay. 17
we have 17 counties. We want to light it up 17. And you'll see all 17 counties. Okay. So if we do not have a Moms for Liberty in your community, email me. My email is chair@momsforlibertynv.org, and that's for FOR. So chair@momsforlibertynv.org. We would love to help you set up. It's not hard at all. It doesn't take a lot, but we work as a coalition team of Moms for Liberty members. And we're not just moms. We're looking for dads to get involved, and that's why we have the Dads for Liberty link, because dads are a powerhouse. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be moms. So
right.
we have to involve the dads. So on the Dads for Liberty link, you'll see we advocate for them just as much as they advocate for us being mothers. And you'll see my husband on there as well. He is a huge advocate for being a dad. He cherishes our children and every child. So we have to do our due diligence to ensure that people understand why we're called Moms for Liberty versus who's advocating for parental rights.
Right.
When we are called Moms for Liberty, because moms are the ones that came together and filled the void of advocating for parental rights. But for parental rights, we all advocate. Moms, dads, teens, grandparents, all alike. We're all advocating. Even people that don't have parents. We have many people that don't even have children that are advocating for parental rights because they have their aunts, their uncles, their cousins. They have children around them. So it's not just for moms. It's for everybody across the board. And with me being a mom of teens, they was like, what about us? They're always with me. They're always listening. They're always advocating. And it was like, we want to join too.
There you go. And there it is. Not only is there a Dads for Liberty link, but there's a Teens for Liberty link.
Yes.
And,
so in a Teens for Liberty, my two wonderful daughters, they lead Teens for Liberty with guidance from parents.
Of course.
Yes, and they are doing an outstanding job. They want people to know that these are things that they care about. We're not talking, they're not saying bullet points that we're coaching them. They're talking about what they feel that people should understand how teens feel.
Yeah.
They're children. They're just more older.
Yeah, and a beautiful thing about that is, like for example, if your teen is involved with Teens for Liberty, and they see something that is objectionable, and it's not just objectionable because the parents would say something. It's something that
they're concerned
about and potentially harmful to their fellow students and themselves, and realize, hey, listen, this is probably not in the best interest of my fellow students. And then they would bring it to you,
yes,
as a chairperson or a leader of Moms for Liberty or a member of Moms for Liberty, and then action could be taken.
Yes, they now these days, and this is just my personal view on things as I see these children growing up. They're being educated on how to be socially awkward, stay in this bubble, stay in your lane. You listen to certain people, and one of those people that you do not listen to is parents. Enough is enough. We're not telling kids to not listen to their parents. Stop trying to keep secrets from parents. We're going to work together as a team. We're going to pray on our children. We're going to love our children, and we're going to guide them in the right direction by opening the Bible first. Everything that my household do, we put God first. And anytime our kids have a question, good question. Let's open up the Bible and get an answer. Because everything in society from now, from the past, and in the future for eons to come, anything you have a question about is in the Bible.
Amen. And I believe that. I actually do believe that. In fact, our country was founded on biblical principles.
Yeah, so
we have one of the greatest countries, if not the greatest.
Absolutely. My daughter, she's the one that wanted to bring on Teen Liberty because she was always there with me.
Let's see a picture. I'm sorry
Yes.
if you're listening on the radio. It's a beautiful picture of Yadasha and her two daughters and other members. I think another mom and a couple of moms.
Everybody here is Moms for Liberty or Teens for Liberty. So the one in front of me, she is my second oldest, and the one behind me, she's my oldest. And she was the one that was like, "That's not fair. Where's the teen stuff at?"
we need representation.
And she was like, "What about Teens for Liberty?" So I created Teens for Liberty, and she leads it.
That's awesome.
And
that is absolutely
as you can see, they have on their Moms for Liberty aka Teens for Liberty shirt. She was, and she's helping me design a Teens for Liberty shirt.
There you go. See there?
Her friends, they are in the school, and they was like, that's awesome, and they want to join. They want to be a part of it because they see how much things have shifted in the teens that are involved. This is for middle school and high school. So from 12, 13 years old, you have a voice. Use it, utilize it. We teach these children on how to speak on their own volition. We don't want them to be socially awkward and like, wait, my mom is going to tell you what type of drink I want. My mom is going to tell you. No. If my child is going to a doctor's appointment, we want to teach them how to speak at that doctor's appointment and know when something is wrong and when something is right. The same for at school. If your teacher is telling you something or showing you something that makes you feel uncomfortable, start to question it. You have a voice and you have a right to question every single thing.
Respectfully,
Yes,
but yeah.
absolutely. And this is what we show them. Just because you don't agree doesn't mean you can be disrespectful.
Right.
Respect is earned and not given across the aisle.
Right.
Children, adults, we respectfully teach these children to speak up. And if they're not listening to you, you have parents for a reason. Yeah. You're in that school every single day for 8 hours out of the day. Talk to your teachers, talk to your admin. And if they're not hearing you, you should always talk to your parents every single day about what's going on so they know the steps and measures to take to protect you.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
it's important.
All right. So while we're moving around the website, you also have a calendar, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So if you go to resources you will see our events calendar. Events. There's nothing there now, but
there will be.
Yes, by the end of the week, there will be many events going on. We have events coming up. So, for example, we just recently partnered with PragerU.
Ooh.
PragerU is huge when it comes to educating kids fundamentally and getting them to think outside the box. They do a lot of videos, a lot of they do a lot of books, and they have actual TV shows as well. And they were looking at the school district like, hey, we need more books that are grounded in a constitutional way. So they decided to partner with Moms for Liberty in Clark County. And we're going to have a book fair geared towards the books that they want to put in the school district. But also we want to see what other authors out there have books that's geared towards students. So we're asking all authors, if you're interested in being in our book fair coming up, we don't have a date yet until we get those books from PragerU, but we want authors to come out and read their books and offer their books to these students. Sell your books. We want to have books that are safe for children,
right? And
let the community know this is what we want, so we can get them not only in the school district but inside the public libraries as well.
You know, that's a great idea. So there's a book fair that's coming.
Yes,
it could be up. It'll be up in the days ahead.
Yes, so it will. Just keep looking at our calendar. The events are going to be there. We also have an event coming up on November 15th. Is a hoedown with a couple of other organizations.
Did you say a hoedown?
Yes. Get your boots ready.
Does your husband have anything to do with this?
He doesn't, but he will be there.
Her husband's a cowboy.
Yes. So get your cowboy hats, get your boots ready because Moms for Liberty is going to be there. We would love to meet everyone.
That sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
Yes, and it's only $1.
A dollar?
$1.
Well, I mean, okay, so what? So describe the event, though. I mean, you said a hoedown.
So what they're doing is they're having this huge event. It's going to be food, table events. There's going to be games and prizes for the kids, the whole family, and you're just meeting people that want to give back to the community and advocate for the community. And this organization, they want to ensure that parents know what they have access to. So they invited Moms for Liberty. They love what we do, and they was like, please come out. So we
Wow.
want to see the community. We want the community to be there. It's $1.
And-
Please show up.
And is there a date? There's the date right there. It
Yes.
is going to be Saturday, November 15th.
From 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Hopefully everyone show up. If you're not there at 10, we expect to see you at 12. If you're not going to be at there at 12, be there at 2 because we're still going to be there.
All right. So this is at the Paradise Recreation Center.
Yes.
We don't have an address for that. However, there's a telephone number that you can call if you want more information. Now, all of this information is on the Moms for Liberty
Yes.
NV
.org.
.org website. But here's the telephone number if you want more information about this hoedown where Moms for Liberty is going to be.
Yeehaw.
You can put your, get your cowboy hat and get your boots on.
Yes.
And put that belt on with that big buckle that you've got, and give these folks a call. You want to contact Sarah Schweifel.
Yes, she's an amazing woman. Or you can scan the QR code right in front of you.
You can from the website. But for those listening on the air, the number is 702-350-1874.
Yes.
That's 702-350-1874, and find out about this event, this hoedown
Yes.
that's going to be happening right here in Las Vegas.
Right here in Las Vegas.
And it's going to cost $1, and you're going to feed people
$1.
$1.
Yes.
Well, I mean, how awesome is that?
Yes. You can't beat it. Now, what I do want to tell you about Moms for Liberty, how unique Nevada is. Now that we have more chapters, like you said, I have a couple of titles. So I want to tell people the difference of the titles.
Okay.
So with Clark County Moms for Liberty, I am the chair of Clark County, but I am also the legislative director for Nevada, which is two completely different things. So when it comes to Clark County, I advocate for Clark County School District children and parental rights as a whole, just for Clark County. But for Nevada, what we do is we're focusing on legislation.
Okay.
Parental rights legislation, anything to do with children and parental rights, we're going to be advocating for. So when you join as a voting member of Moms for Liberty Nevada, that's all the states, all the counties, we are going to be pushing bills on how we're going to ensure that they're safer for children and parents, how we're going to make sure that we bring in bills that are not there that we need.
Okay.
So if you have any ideas, email them to us because we're going to be voting and we're going to put our call to actions out and what we're going to be pushing this next coming election in 2027.
Okay.
We want to make sure that Nevada voice is heard loud and clear when it comes to parents and children. So we have a huge new legislation team for the entire voice of Nevada. Now, with any county that is not part of Moms for Liberty yet, you still have time because you have to be a member of Moms for Liberty, and I can help you get there.
And so listen, if you're listening to another part of Nevada, listen, you want to be a part. And
Yes.
maybe you're listening to this broadcast and you're not even in the state of Nevada. There's a Moms for Liberty near you.
Yes, we're in 48 states.
48 states, be a
Yes.
part. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't be. And besides, I got to be honest with you, once you start digging into, some of the stuff that's in your public school that you would be shocked. You would be shocked to know that is there and being
Yes.
taught to, little Johnny and little Susie just think, look, they're like sponges. They're thinking that everything that they're learning is something that they need to learn, right? There's no level of discernment a lot of times with kids. They just learn whatever you teach them, they soak it up. But as parents, we've been around the block. We know a little bit about. Sometimes there are these hidden agendas that sneak into curriculum.
Yes.
That we would want to know about. Now, for example, we talked about this before on a previous show where a lot of the books that are in your children's library, thankfully, is now available for you to view and read some of the excerpts, which are sexually explicit and promoting stuff that you certainly don't want your 12, 11, 8-year-old to be reading.
Absolutely.
Right? And now there's a way for you to resolve that and have that book extricated from your public library in your school.
And we have lists of these books. if you go to the Moms for Liberty national website, we have a list of all the books. And even if you're just like, I don't want to go through a website, email me, I will send you a list. Now that we are working with the superintendent, if you have any questions or concerns about anything in the school district, we've been getting droves of emails of problems. And for example, IEP is huge. IEP is kids with special needs.
Yeah.
And if your child is on an IEP plan and their needs aren't being met, we now have an IEP committee in Moms for Liberty.
Wow.
Yes.
So for those of you who have, maybe you have a special needs child that's in the public school system, and you need some attention, maybe for whatever reason something's not quite right.
Yes.
You can now contact your Moms for Liberty chapter, and there's help.
Yes.
There's
and
help
even
there.
if they're not in the school district, they work with students outside the school district as well. And we're moving to every county. When I say we are building a monument for parental rights across the board, anything that you can think of, we have a committee for.
All right, so there's an elephant in the room, and I'm going to address it. Here's the thing. Now, here comes my daughter. She's now in 9th grade.
Okay.
Been athletic, but been going to private schools in previous years. First year, she was first year in high school as in the public school system, right?
Okay.
Now, I know that Clark County has a liberal view towards which gender can appear in the girls' locker rooms. And I told my daughter this. I said, now look, I want you to be, whether it's cheer or track, because she was running track for a while. I said, it doesn't matter what sport you're involved in, right? But I said, the moment that a male guy enters your female locker room, that's it for your athletic program. Yeah. I said, I'm sorry. I know that's the school policy. They're going to let males into the girl locker rooms. I said, as soon as that happens, you're done. She turned to me, you know what she said? Daddy, that was already going to be my plan.
You have some very smart children.
They said there is absolutely no way that she's going to be undressing in front of a guy or watching a guy undress in front of the girls' locker room. And so girls, this is the tough thing. Girls or men in women's sports in high school and middle school, that's Moms for Liberty is not shying away from this.
Not at all. We're just getting started. And a lot of people hear me say that a lot because we are just getting started with whatever you need. And with that topic, we have been getting a lot of messages from people wanting to make a stronger stance on keeping boys out of girls' sports and vice versa. I just received an email last week of a girl going into the boys' bathroom because she now identifies as a boy. And what was disturbing is that this young girl, while she's in the bathroom, there's a line of boys waiting to go in the bathroom. So now they have to hold it because they don't feel comfortable with her being in there. And a teacher went in there not knowing she was in there to use the bathroom. Boys have urinals.
Right.
Your thing is out and there's a little girl in there.
Wow.
And he didn't even know.
That's just talk about unintended consequences.
Yeah, so when are we going to start paying attention to common sense? And this is why we've been asked to do a ballot initiative for keeping boys out of girls' sports. And we have a lot of dads that's ready. They're like, we're going to advocate to keep our daughters protected.
Listen, I'm talking to you.
Yes.
Listen, I have 3 daughters, right? Now, one of them's in college, but I still have 2 in public schools. And listen, this is an issue. I'm sorry.
Huge.
And I'm just adamantly against this school board policy of allowing biological males into girls' locker and undressing and showering in front of. No, it's going to not. And look, and the sad reality is, a lot of these girls are very athletic, and they love the sports that they're in, whether it's basketball or track or softball or whatever it is.
Yes.
And they are looking towards a college scholarship.
Yes. And they're losing it because there's boys that's not strong enough in the boy field and they're going towards the girl field just because they put on a wig and a skirt. That makes absolutely no sense.
I'm sorry, but it has to stop. It just has to stop.
So we have we now have a blog on the new website, and we are going to have a special blog specifically for keeping boys out of girls sports and vice versa. That is going to be led by someone that helped create Title IX.
Oh my goodness!
Yes. So be on the lookout for that because, like I said, we are just getting started.
Well, there you have it, folks. I'm speaking with Yadasha Jones, who is the Legislative Director for Moms for Liberty Nevada and the Chairwoman for Moms for Liberty here in Clark County. And she's looking out not only for her kids, she's looking out for your kids as well. You want to be a part of this. First of all, create an account on momsforlibertynv.org. momsforlibertynv.org.
Yes.
And create an account, log in, find out how you can be a part, find out when the book fair is, attend the hoedown that's coming up on the 15th of November, right? Get your cowboy stuff on, and come out, meet some people, meet Yadasha, find out what she's doing, how you can be a part. And let's start taking back our schools and our curriculum.
Absolutely. Let's start taking back parental rights. And just one other thing. If you work a full-time job, let's say you have 5 kids, let's say you're a single parent, it doesn't matter. We have something out there for you. We are advocating specifically for you. So all we ask is 4 hours out of the month to help us help you. That's all we need.
That's not a lot to ask. Yadasha, it's been a joy having you on the broadcast today. Thank you. You will be back.
Yes, absolutely. We have so many things on the way. I can't stay away.
There you go. Well, folks, that's it for the broadcast today. If you have any questions about anything you've heard, you can contact First Choice. Our number 702-294-CARE. That's 702-294-2273. Or look us up on the web, fcpschampions.org. And make sure you visit momsforlibertynv.org.
We do not co-parent with the government.
That's exactly right. And you also can be a champion for life. God bless you.